Hi, my name is Coldbear and let's start with Crossfire Legion. This is without a doubt one of the coolest titles in this list. Here you will lead your customized army to failure, well, or to victory, which is less likely, on the proving grounds of a not too distant futuristic world consumed by corporate conflict. So basically, as we can see, the timeline and technology is almost the same as in Red Alert games, near future with cool guns and abilities. Here you'll also find a nice campaign where you will fight in various terrains, from a top of skyscrapers to marshy, wet regions that will remind you of your ex-girlfriend, or infiltrate heavily defended military bases as you get to know the main characters and goals of all three rival nations. Multiplayer is also implemented so you can climb leaderboards or most likely never ever see your name even close to the top, or probably at all. You can also team up with your mother-in-law in co-op maps and defend together or show others who's the boss.
Probably not you.
Dustfront. Someone is doing a great job, and that someone is just a one man from Chelyabinsk in Russia. The game definitely stands out from many others by its unique style and color palette. I can't lie, I am a sucker for a dark sci-fi, and this whole setting reminds me of Terminator or underground cities of Matrix. Although these colors can backfire as well. Without any eye candies, it may become boring to play rather quickly. Game features classic and tactical RTS gameplay, global map, management of territories and resources, research tree to upgrade your army and economy, building system, roguelike elements, and story with different endings. Game is not on Steam yet, and it's not on Kickstarter. The developer have said to me personally that it's impossible to launch a Kickstarter campaign where he lives, so he will just continue working on this project alone in his free time. I will definitely play the game upon the release, which can happen anytime in this, decade. Men of War 2. First game was released in 2009, and now 13 years later we are getting part 2. Here you'll experience an epic story spanning two primary campaigns, Allies and Soviets against the Third Reich military power machine. Game features highly detailed World War II locations, vehicles and characters. Here you'll encounter 45 battalions and over 300 different vehicles. Game also includes multiplayer and co-op mode. You can play in a vast selection of realistic skirmish and challenge maps, providing enough room for strategic maneuvers. So plan your attacks, team up with a friend, and fail the battles together. Yeah, prove me wrong. Starship Troopers Terran Command. This game will have a model similar to They Are Billions, where you defend from the hordes of enemies and try to keep your base alive. Here you can literally relive the best moments of the Starship Troopers movie by defending your base from the hordes of bloodthirsty ladybugs. Although, in my eyes, the weakest point of the game is the base building, and that's a shame. Anyway, here you will encounter dozens of unique insect types, each with their own special abilities and skills. Also, the map has terrain elevation, true line of sight, and true line of fire, providing deep tactical gameplay, meaning that units that stand behind other units can't shoot unless they stand on a higher ground. Sadly, you can't play as alien insects. It's not off the table completely, developers say, but now you can only play as fascist military human society. That's it. Terminator Dark Fate Defiance. I'm so glad that I decided to make this list because I had no idea that something like this is in development. I have watched all the Terminator movies and I like 3 of them. The first 2 and the one with Christian Bale. The latter wasn't a really good movie in terms of the plot, but I like the anti-utopian world controlled by evil machines. It was magical for me to watch how AI has evolved in our world, and the scene where Bale just took control of some self-driving motorcycle was truly epic. So he will start humanity's resistance against the machines by surviving engagements with Legion and rallying others to your cause. But in the post-judgment world, the greatest threats may not come from the machines, but rather from other human survivors. Yeah, we suck as species. Sanctuary. This is a real-time strategy game set far in the future on a Dyson sphere, where 3 factions vie for power on what could be a prosperous utopia but is instead a warring hellscape. You'll take command of up to 1,000 units under your direct control and map up to 40 by 40 kilometers in size as a battleground. Well, relatively to your tiny units, that is. The game will prioritize macroeconomics over micromanagement, which can only mean one thing: death of one or several of your units means nothing in a grand scale of upcoming battles. Here are no spending limits, no speed limits, just the cold hard reality of income minus expenses. And that reality is too hard for me, because my expenses are always bigger than my income. So subscribe, help a dude to survive in Eastern Europe, help me buy more expensive vodka. Beyond All Reason. This is a free, open-source, real-time strategy game created to uphold the legacy of Total Annihilation. Although the game is not finished, it is currently in playable open alpha, with the multiplayer gameplay nearing a finalized state, meaning that you can just go to beyondallreason.info, download the client and play the game absolutely free. It is being updated on daily basis in terms of the client and infrastructure, and the development team is working on single-player campaign. Now it offers ordinary skirmishes, 2 survival modes and a bunch of simple scenarios. Also, you can participate in tournaments. Recently there was a 2 versus 2 tournament held and first place was awarded 270 American euros. So you can play for free and earn money in the process, although we both know that this ain't going to happen. Retro Commander. Okay, this looks like a Red Alert ripoff, but it has one really nice attribute you probably can't resist. It is free to play on Steam. It's in early access now and you can try it already. You will encounter a challenging AI for single-player games, including co-op play with the AI, cross-platform multiplayer over LAN or internet, including co-op team and clan games. You will encounter a campaign with a storyline of humanity after a cataclysmic event and zillions of units including infantry, tanks, jets, helicopters, airships, warships, penis throwers, submarines, and more. Well, maybe not all of them, but the game is not finished yet, so you never know. Global Conflagration. Game is set in a fictional near future where Europe is at war. Hearing that nowadays doesn't sound like fun, to be honest. Anyway, here we'll find a campaign that will explore an unexpected military incursion in Europe, as well as offline skirmish and multiplayer. Game has a traditional base building system implemented, and that alone will put this game forever in my radar, because base building is the main thing of every good RTS game. If it doesn't contain base building, it must be beyond awesome in other aspects, but we all know that those games tend to fail a lot and are not as loved by the players as those who have base building implemented. Sadly, no release date is known yet, but if you stay with my channel, news will come to you sooner or later. Commanding Nations. On Steam there are only 2 screenshots by now, but the game has a proud release date, September of 2022. I tried to find some gameplay on YouTube and I did. This one is 4 months old and it seems like it's an alpha build. I don't know if you can tell, but those huge letters on the entire screen may be a hint that this game is unfinished. It looks nice though. It has cool details and kinda decent graphics, but guys, September this year? Dune Spice Wars. When I saw the trailer for the first time and then I googled for some screenshots, I was really disappointed with what I saw. It seemed like a cheap 4X strategy without any signs of life of the RTS genre. But later some gameplay appeared and I was like,
yes, give me that. Feed me with your real-time decisions, my body is ready.
And they did, because this is a real-time strategy game with 4X elements from the developers of the very well-known strategy game Northgard. You must lead your faction and battle for control and dominance over the harsh desert planet of Arrakis, which has the most valuable resource in the universe, which extends life, expands consciousness, and makes interstellar travel possible. And no, surprisingly, it's not vodka, but the substance called spice. Also, you will have to scan the landscape all the time or risk losing your troops and spice harvesters to titanic, wiggly-jiggly creatures who will burst through the sand dunes to swallow everything. Oh yeah, they can open their mouths so wide your sister would envy them. And if you want to buy cheaper games and in the process support my channel, check my link of the GOG shop in the description. All games there are DRM free and they support money refunds for up to 30 days. Steam cries in the corner by hearing that. Thank you for watching, have a nice day and I'll
See you next time.
bye.